Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine number 8, and this is inside cover dated early December 1988. The cover is by Charles Vess, so penciled and inked by him. It's a very moody cover, as you can see. I like the combination of the Man-Thing, who also features in an inside story in this comic, and also Wolverine. A lot of shadow there, hunched over, claws protruding from his right hand. Very, very moody, very, very atmospheric. I like the rim lighting there from the full moon behind the two characters as well. Now, let's open this one up to the inside credits page, and you can see here over on the left that for the Wolverine story, the title of the story overall is Save the Tiger, and the creative team writer Chris Claremont. Breakdowns, John Buscema. That means that Buscema is not doing full pencils here, and Klaus Janson, the inker, is finishing the details in Buscema's breakdowns. Letterer Tom Orzechowski and colorist Glynis Oliver rounds out the creative team. Over here we have our blurb for the particular chapter here, part 8 of 10, The Fight. Roche has captured the saloon keeper O'Donnell in the mistaken belief that he's the arch rival. He is his arch rival, the Tiger, and means to execute him after appropriate hideous tortures designed to teach him the utter absolute folly of challenging Roche. But the real Tiger, Jessan, Hoan and Wolverine have no intention of letting their friend die. So that gives us the setup now for the 8 pages to follow. Roche's estate is the setting of the opening. I really like this 6-panel grid here that Buscema is using. Great establishing shot of the estate. In Wolverine's first-person narration, we learn a little bit about the location of the estate on the heights overlooking the city of Madripoor, home fit for a crime lord, as much fortress as palace, complete with an army to defend it. So interesting little setup here, procedural, where one of Roche's men is down clearing debris, blocking the entrance to a storm drain there. Streams overflowing the banks, says the guy, and the two guys up on the wall here tell him to clear it. How about some help, he asks. You are the new boy on the squad, Chen. That means that you do all the scut work. So there he is down there, and he's huffing and puffing. Better you should be in Hades running dog, elitist pigs. Just because they've got more time on the job, they think they can lord it over me. The guy's saying, someday though, I'll make him pay. But right behind him, this figure is emerging with a very distinctive hairdo from the waters of the stream. Really like the angles that Buscema has chosen here for telling the story. We're down in the stream with the guy looking up at the two guards on the wall. Then we're up with them looking down at him in the stream. Then we're down with him in the stream again, and they're walking away along the wall. Yeah, it's really nice shots that Buscema is choosing for this. So of course, who's this? Asking the question rhetorically, how about now, bub? And it is a gloved hand here. Turn the page and we get a splash, and it is Wolverine, and he is in some camouflage gear in order to remain undetected in the nighttime, and he's also wearing this netting across his face as well. It's a fairly flimsy disguise, and he threatens the guy in the water. Your choice, boy. You want to be a hero? Do you want to die? And he's got one claw extruded there, his hand around the guy's throat. He's smarter than he looks, says Wolverine in his first-person narration, the soul of cooperation. Great inking here on this page by Klaus Janson. He's definitely inking with a brush, having fun here making these marks in the water of the stream, and also for the foliage there at the bank of the stream too. And all of the perspective being done by eyeball as well. Really, really works well. So Wolverine continues with his first person narration. I want information. He tells me all I want to know. Roche is inside together with his enforcer Razorfist, his pet vampire, Sapphire Styx, and his inquisitor. One prisoner, the saloon keeper O'Donnell, who Roche mistakenly believes is his arch rival, the upstart rebel chieftain Tiger. Big mistake, he says, as he puts that claw right under the guy's throat, or on his throat, under his chin. He's worse. The real Tiger's friend and mine as well. There are also the mercs, but they don't count for much. They're only human. I'm a mutant. I'm Wolverine. So in his first person narration, we are getting some catch up in terms of what has gone on in previous chapters. But I do find that Claremont has a way of varying the phrasing and making the catch up as readable as anything else in the comic. It doesn't feel like he's just treading water or repeating the same exact material from before. We're getting little nuances of difference in the way that Wolverine is phrasing things, and it keeps it interesting for the reader who has read all the prior chapters. So now we get a nice top-down shot on the estate here, and again in Wolverine's first-person narration, estate's backed by a sheer cliff 300 meters straight down to the harbour below, supposedly unclimbable. So we have to imagine that someone's going to climb it, yes. Other three sides are protected by Roche's equivalent of the Berlin Wall. Lights, sensors, spikes, razor wire, mines, gun towers, the works. So that's a little reference that gives us, you know, the time of the creation of this story, 1998, when the Berlin Wall was still standing. Like the men, the best books can buy, concludes Wolverine. So, I really like this particular panel here of Wolverine. Remember, he's got adamantium lace skeleton, so when he punches you, it's more than a human punch, and the guy is knocked out into the water. Does that mean he drowns there, or does Wolverine pull him out? Anyway, let's continue with the story. Ain't it a crying shame, says Wolverine, how the dollar doesn't buy any more what it used to. Moon's full, no clouds in the sky to cover it. That's bad. Can't be helped. Internal clock gives me my cue. Check my watch to be sure. Adamantium claws will cut through anything, so it's a simple matter to uncover the power and phone lines leading into Roche's place and then sever him. He'll have backup generators, of course, but it'll be a few seconds before they come online. That's all the time I need. So this is a speciality of Claremont, procedural storytelling, where he's putting thought into, okay, if you have an estate that has security, such as this one, that has a Berlin Wall perimeter, such as this one, how do you make your way in? So Wolverine is doing it as sneakily as he can, and with a lot of knowledge of how to do this kind of thing from his time in the security forces, and covert ops, as much of that as he can remember. But I like the little detail there about how he's got an internal clock as well, but he checks his watch nonetheless. That's good stuff. Now, interesting here on this particular page that we're moving into a 9-panel grid, more or less. Now, it's not an exact grid because some panels are smaller and others bigger on the page, but Buscema laying out the story in 9 panels on this page, so fitting a lot of detail in. And again, it's all procedural. Wolverine here using his claws to climb up the wall, and in his first person narration saying, and while I slip in the front door, my partner sneaks in the back. Jessan, Hoan, no more the banker, that woman, and life are history. She calls herself Tiger now. So she's the one climbing the 300-foot cliff, the back entrance to the estate. And you can see here that she also has gotten into dark clothes and camo for the night operation, including those tiger stripes on her face as well, which of course ties in with her code name, Tiger. And Wolverine continues, she wants Roche's throne, his power, his head. Got no quarrel with that. It's what happens after, when she takes his place, that's the problem. How am I supposed to deal with a crime lord I'm partly responsible for creating? So all of this is overlaid the visuals from Buscema. So Wolverine is having his thoughts there, and Buscema's visuals tell the story without any exposition required for what we're seeing. So inside, there's panic in the dark, And Roche here calls order. Silence, fools. You're running about like a pack of witless curs, he yells. Get a hold of yourselves. And this is good. So how can this guy, or this reveals how the guy became a crime lord, a crime boss in Madripoor. He's got brains. So he has a strategic way of thinking. Activate the emergency generators, he orders. Use infrared and starlight scopes to cover the grounds. Form up your fire teams and secure the perimeter. So they say at once. They've been called to order and they've got a plan to follow now. So Roche then continues his orders. Any intruders are to be shot on sight. Unleash the dogs to flush them out into the open. So off go his security team. And then he turns to Sapphire Styx, the vampire. We're kind of led to believe she might be a mutant. And he says to her as he strokes her cheek, Sapphire, I leave our guest to your tender mercies. And she replies, Roche, you do know the way to a girl's heart. Easily, my dear, he replies, when she's as insatiable as you. She is a vampire in a certain regard. We'll see her down here doing her thing. And what's his orders for Razorfist as he lights his cigarette? Razorfist, you stay by me. If this is a rescue attempt, those misguided cretins will gain naught but their own deaths. So more procedural here. So the dogs have been unleashed. They're Dobermans. And Wolverine recognizes in his first person narration their larynxes removed so they can't warn their prey by barking. Scent gives him away. I twist upwind to give him a breath on mine, plus a growl to let him know who's boss. Dogs are smarter in some ways than people. They know when they're outmatched. And that's a great little sequence there. We can see them leaping towards where they sent Wolverine, and then he growls there. And there's a number of different things going on in this little image. It's classic Buscema in terms of the way that he has Wolverine's center line bent over at a diagonal, and also, just the power in the pose. But other things going on here are Klaus Janson's inking, where he's cutting in some white media into the drama lines there. Just so you can see the little white spots as well. That's very distinctive of Klaus Janson's inking style. And also we get a Glynis Oliver trope too, which is the red background, the all red background, for a moment of emotional intensity here, or actual violence over here in the panel opposite on this particular page. I also like this little panel by Buscema of the dogs, like they're cowed. They know that they have encountered an alpha beast and they're not going to attack Wolverine. But he said there that dogs are smarter in some ways than people, so people aren't as smart as dogs, and these guys up on the roof, they're shooting down at Wolverine. He says here, a well-thrown rock makes it dark again, but now the bully boys know where to shoot, so I hot-foot it. There's something about these two particular panels that remind me of Frank Miller when inked by Klaus Janson. So just the blockiness of Wolverine's figure there, and again over here, the shattered glass. Like I said, I'm just reminded of Frank Miller again. We've got great action here. At first glance, not the most brilliant of moves. The intruder, he's here. Gun him, they say. Wolverine here punching out the mercenaries. I got these chumps right where I want them. Meanwhile, Jessan, she's made her way up the cliff and she's thinking. Again, it's more procedural stuff. How does she know where to go? Everyone's after Wolverine just as we planned, so Wolverine's the distraction, leaving the coast clear for me to backtrack along the route he said he took out of Roche's dungeon. So Wolverine has told her how to get down into the dungeon. That's where they expect O'Donnell is being held, and he is indeed. And Sapphire Styx is there drawing out his life force and mocking him as she does it. Fight as hard as you can, she exclaims. It makes the life I drain from you so much more tasty. But Jessan blasts her way through the door there. I love the way that it's kind of established there in the background of the panel. Then it's blasted open. And now we're already on the last page of this particular chapter. So this one really flew by with all the action. Jessan here just shoots Sapphire Styx Does she shoot her dead? We'll have to see in subsequent chapters. O'Donnell's very weak in there. He tells Tiger, you shouldn't have. And someone else is in the room. It is the Inquisitor. And he uses this whip to pull away Tiger's machine gun, and also to grab her by the throat. And she's knocked out on the ground, and he says, isn't this a delightful turnabout? Now that's one of Claremont's favourite ideas, the idea of the turnabout in his stories, and how all's fair in turnabout as well. So the guy is there gloating over Tiger on the ground. Could it be we were about to execute the wrong Tiger? He asks. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Can't have that now, can we? Open your eyes, little one. Take a good long look at the last thing you'll ever see. So this guy gets his jollies from the pain he inflicts on his victims as he tortures them. So I have a sense he's going to get his comeuppance in the coming 2 chapters of this story. Here we have Wolverine. He's dealt with all the mercenaries, and he says here in his first person narration, Roche was gypped. This bunch was strictly amateur hour. So that goes back to what he was saying about that the dollar doesn't buy you value anymore. But who's he going to face? Once again, it's Razor Fist blocking his way. Razor Fist says in his stiff fashion, I'm pleased to see you survived our earlier encounter, stranger. Fate's willing, we shall not meet again. And Wolverine, a man of honor, gives Razor Fist a warning. Fair warning, Razor Fist. Stand aside while you've the chance. And Razor Fist says, and betray my bond. That I cannot do. The only way to get to Roche Warrior is over my dead body. So we're going to get a final battle between these two in the next chapter, continued next issue. So very, very good stuff by the creative team here in chapter 8. We're coming towards the end of this story set in Madripoor, Save the Tiger. Lots of action to come, I imagine, in issue number 9 of this. So I'm looking forward to reviewing that in due course. Well, I do hope that you enjoyed my review and commentary. If you did, please like and share the video. It really does help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.